We love the story of the solitary genius. You know the one. A scientist in a lab coat has a eureka moment, isolates a molecule, and suddenly the world is cured. It's a romantic history of medicine, but it's wrong. Real medicine isn't just biology, it's logistics, it's regulatory strategy, and above all, it is math. Today, we are profiling Sir Dennis Gillings. He didn't invent a pill, he invented a process. As the founder of Quintiles, now IQVIA, he took the chaotic, artisanal world of drug development and turned it into a standardized global industrial machine. In this video, we're going to break down how a fishmonger's son from London used statistics to unlock billions in pharmaceutical value. We'll look at the double dip, the financial engineering masterstroke where he took his company private and then public again to amass a fortune, and how he's now using that capital to fight dementia. I'm Dan Sfera, and this is the story of the architect of evidence. Dennis Gillings was born in London in 1944, right at the tail end of World War II. He didn't come from money. His father was a fishmonger who fought on the beaches of Normandy. His mother was a milliner. Gillings later said that the fish trade taught him his first business lesson. Margins are thin, spoilage is fatal, and nobody owes you a living. He showed an early aptitude for math, specifically statistics. He earned his PhD from the University of Exeter and a diploma from Cambridge. But before he settled into the comfortable life of a professor, he did something that gives us a glimpse into his risk tolerance. In the early 1970s, before taking a job at the University of North Carolina, Gillings drove a car across the length of Africa. No GPS, no cell phones. Just a map and a suitcase. He navigated post-colonial borders and rough terrain. This wasn't just a vacation. It was a logistics boot camp. The man who would later manage clinical trials across 50 countries cut his teeth navigating the Sahara. By 1974, Gillings is a professor of biostatistics at UNC, and this is where he gets the call that changes the industry. Hoechst Roussel, a predecessor to Sanofi, was in trouble. They had a diabetes drug that was effective, but reports from Germany said patients were dying. The FDA was blocking it. The drug was dead in the water. They hired Gillings to look at the data. He took 56 hospital charts, all in German, and applied rigorous statistical models. His finding? The drug was safe. The deaths weren't random. They were happening in patients with kidney failure who couldn't excrete the drug. If you excluded that specific subgroup, the drug worked perfectly. This was the eureka moment. Gillings realized the problem wasn't the chemistry, it was the information. Billions of dollars were trapped behind messy data. He started a consulting firm in a trailer on the UNC campus, hiring his grad students to crunch numbers. In 1982, he incorporated Quintiles. This is the part of the story that investors need to pay attention to. Gillings wasn't just a great statistician, he was a brilliant financial engineer. Quintiles went public in 1994. It grew massive during the blockbuster drug era of the 90s. But being public in the CRO industry is tough. Trials get canceled, revenue is lumpy, and Wall Street hates uncertainty. By 2003, the market had soured on CROs. The stock price was down. Gillings saw what the market missed, the long-term value of the infrastructure he built. So he bet on himself. In 2003, he led a leverage buyout LBO to take the company private for $7 billion. This allowed him to get out of the quarterly earnings rat race. For 10 years as a private company, he expanded into Asia and invested heavily in IT systems while competitors were cutting costs. Then in 2013, the market turned again. Biotech was booming. Gillings took Quintiles public for the second time. The valuation, over $5 billion. By taking it private when it was cheap, fixing it, and selling it back to the public when it was expensive, Gillings pulled off a legendary double dip. Filings show he and his partners received a $25 million fee just for ending their management agreement. But he wasn't done. By 2016, the industry had shifted again. It wasn't just about running trials, it was about big data. Gillings orchestrated a merger of equals with IMS Health, the company that owns the world's largest database of patient records and prescription sales. The logic was simple. Quintiles had the trials, IMS had the patients. The combined company, now called IQVIA, is a monster with an enterprise value of over $23 billion. This move cemented the transition of clinical research from a biological art to an information science. Today, Sir Dennis Gillings is retired from the CEO chair, but he's still active. He co-founded GHO Capital, a private equity firm bridging the gap between European and American healthcare. And after being knighted by Queen Elizabeth, he serves as a global envoy for dementia research, applying that same statistical rigor to try and solve the Alzheimer's crisis. Sir Dennis Gillings proves that you don't have to be the one looking through the microscope to change the world. By treating clinical evidence as an asset class, by building the architecture of evidence, he accelerated the delivery of drugs to millions of people. He proved that in the fight against disease, sometimes the most powerful weapon isn't a pipette, it's a calculator. If you enjoyed this breakdown of the business of science, make sure to subscribe. We've got a deep dive coming up on the current state of the CRO market. Thanks for watching.